Hey, thank you. Good morning. Okay, everyone. We have a special assembly today because the 8th grade class had a special teacher come in this year to work with them in the Artists in Education program. And that program started on January 2nd when we came back from winter break. And the 8th grade history classes have had Mr. Morales coming in to work with them. Okay, and Mr. Morales, as many of you guys know, is a professional percussionist. And he has put on some performances for you guys, so a lot of you guys not in 8th grade should know him as well. And basically what we were trying to do, Mr. Morales and I, for the 8th grade students, is make a unique education experience to kind of tie in music with history and culture and the growth of the African American experience through history and through society in North America. Okay, and I thought it was a really great program to work with Mr. Morales and collaborate with him on and tie in how music relates to culture and history and how those two things are uniquely combined to show you how the past relates to the present. And what we did as part of that was each class for 8th grade history worked on their own piece of history and their own section for a performance piece, which we want to present for you today. Okay, so 8th grade kids, you're going to see what the other guys were doing in the other classes since January. 7th graders, you'll see what the entire 8th grade has been working on since January. And it came along very well. I think we got a lot of learning out of it, and I think we had a fun experience with how we're going to show you that the performance we came along with since January. So what I'd like to do without further ado is give Mr. Morales a moment to speak to you guys, address the crowd, and then we will call you up by your class to perform. All right, so enjoy the show. Thank you.
All right. How are you feeling today? Good? How are you feeling today? I'm feeling the same way. Today is a very special day for us. We've been working really hard to put this music together. We're also having fun. Like for me, it's been a great pleasure to meet all of you guys. It's a very special day since today we're going to share with our friends in the 7th grade and also for each other, because some of the classes haven't heard what the other classes are doing. So we're going to, it's the first time we're playing the pieces for each other. So this is our celebration of this, and the culmination of this program. I hope we get to see each other, maybe play more music in the future. But what we're going to do today is we're going to take you in a journey, okay, through the history of African American music, a musical journey, and also we'll be giving you a little bit of the historic perspective of each of the different eras of this music. So, are you guys ready to go? Yeah! Alright, so I need you to welcome with a big round of applause, period 8.
Good morning, HPS. This is Dad, and I'm Eileen.
Here today we have our 8th grade history class presenting different types of music throughout history. In our class, we focus on two topics: work songs and slavery.
Mr. Morales introduced our class to different types of Afro-Caribbean music relating to the slave period during 1619 to 1865. With this practice in music, our class started to develop an understanding in how slaves communicated by creating signal songs.
For example, when the Fugitive Slave Act was passed down, it denied slaves from talking in groups more than two. This is because the South did not want them starting any more rebellions, causing slaves to start call and response songs.
These slave songs helped them communicate a way to escape to Canada. They consisted of one person singing something and the others repeating or replying with a certain sound or phrase.
For instance, this image shows how a leader will speak something and the others will follow. After the Fugitive Slave Act passed, slaves had no freedom except for when plantation owners allowed them to have a free day on Sundays or holidays.
Slaves took this and used this as the day to spread culture within a place known as Congo Square located in New Orleans, Louisiana. The slaves took part into this making music with all sorts of drums, sticks, or any object they could find. During this period of time, slaves felt the need to do this so they wouldn't forget where they originated from.
Give a round of applause for the 8th period of history class.
Thank you, Pillar A, for getting the journey started. We're going to continue now in the timeline. After the time of slavery, right? After the Emancipation Proclamation, new times came, and a new style of music was born to reflect those new times. We're talking about the blues. Okay, the blues start telling the unheard story of African Americans, especially from the South, and from the South spread throughout America and then throughout the world. But this group is going to tell you more about it. Okay, can we welcome with a big round of applause, period 2. They are going to set up, because they are using a different kind of instruments, which were, most of them were built by us. And as you can see, these carbon marimbas were created by all the 8th grade classes, and they were decorated with images from important personalities in the African American community that contribute to this music. I want to thank the art teacher that also helped us. Some of their students also helped decorate the marimbas for us. Give them a round of applause. We also have Travis on the piano. And you'll see, we'll have some brave students that, although we only have really just a couple of lessons and classes working on these, they're going to be improvising, they're going to be freestyling, right? Which is part of the blues tradition, and most styles of African, especially West African music, and different styles of music, Afro-American music, improvisation is key to it. So they're going to take a chance and improvise for you. So I hope you will give me a big round of applause. And here they are. Yes? All right.
Hello everybody, my name is Luis Rosado. We're going to give a demonstration of blues music and the Great Migration in the Harlem Renaissance. From throughout the years of 1910 to 1970, the Great Migration urbanized the African American population in the South and expanded blues music to the rest of America. The migration had great impact on blues music, but blues music had the same impact on the migration. Northern artists, Southern artists migrated to the north, and more and more as they became more successful, they migrated north.
The Great Migration caused by crop devastation, formation of the Ku Klux Klan, Jim Crow laws in the U.S. entering World War I and World War II, which demanded more labor in the northern states, created a new market for the music industry. Chicago, New York, and California were the main areas the migration went. Through the migration, blues music evolved and created many different styles of music, including many of our modern genres today, such as jazz, soul, and hip-hop. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy.
no one's diving for a ball. No one's diving for all balls.
That rhythm that we're clapping is the main rhythm that the next class is going to be performing for you. It's a rhythm that has traveled all the way from Africa to the coast of Latin America, North America, the south of this country, specifically New Orleans, and that's the region that your classmates are going to tell you a little bit more about. So, are we ready to go to New Orleans? Yes? All right, so let's welcome our next class, period 5, with a big round of applause.
Do something cool!
Hello everyone, my name is Trish Crozier and this is
Ashley Gonzalez.
we've been working really hard with doing music focused more on big band, New Orleans, jazz, and Congo Square. It was really hard for us, but we got the whole rhythm down. And I do want to thank Eileen, Miss and Travis for joining us on short notice. They joined us like 3 weeks ago.
New Orleans is known by the general public to be the birthplace of jazz, though not many people know the history of jazz music. People don't know how it connects to African Americans in the United States and how it affected people when jazz music was first introduced. Jazz music contains plenty of improvisation. It was developed by African Americans and was influenced by both European harmonic structure and African rhythms. It was also partially developed from ragtime and blues. Jazz music is often characterized by syncopated rhythms, a polyphonic ensemble, and the use of original timbres. Yet, it isn't easy to come up with a definition for jazz since it is constantly evolving.
Music itself completely derived from a place in New Orleans called Congo Square. The French implemented Code Noir in Louisiana Territory, which gave slaves a day of rest. This day allowed slaves to congregate, to sing, dance, and set up markets, along other things. During the early 1800s, the mayor of New Orleans restricted the assembly of enslaved people to the back of the town. Thus, Congo Square was created. Congo Square became famous for being one of the only places with as many as 600 slaves and free people of color congregating at once. This caused Congo Square to become the musical heart of New Orleans. From this information, we can see that the music had a big impact on both enslaved and free African Americans. For one, it allowed the communication between slaves and free people, as well as other slaves. Music also was a way to let loose. This could even have helped people of color to forget about what they go through or what they've gone through as a free African American or a slave.
Overall, jazz music was derived from Congo Square, where slaves could assemble. This allowed them to have fun, and music was one of the ways they did that. This could possibly be the reason why there is so much improvisation in jazz music now. Now please give a warm welcome for Mr. Morgan's period class.
keep going south. Because one of the things that we talk about after we kind of explore a little bit the music of New Orleans is that the connection between the history of slavery in the United States with the history of slavery in the rest of the continent, south of the border. So we heard some music from the Caribbean, from places like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. What was that? Peru. Right? That's my country of origin, as I told you. Like we came the first day, we have to bring in sample to the phone. Yes. Thank you. And so Puerto Rico, see, yes. Costa Rica, President to the house, Costa Rica, yes. And so all these countries have a similar history, but the music that was created has the same roots, the same rhythmic roots. They're similar in many ways, but also they're different in their own special way. So with this next class, what we're going to do is we're going to play a selection of different rhythms from different parts of the Caribbean and Latin America, so you get a little bit of the flavor of African American music throughout the country. And for that, we need to invite our next group, period. Where are you? Uno. Period uno. Number one. And for this special performance, we have our special guest, Mr. Morgan.
He's ignoring you. He's so
I'm Catherine Acevedo, and we're going to talk about music of South America and Latin America. So music from Latin and South America has created a big impact on the music we listen to today and on the historical events that cause different genres to be all connected. All of these different styles that are being performed in our section use traditional instruments like cajones from Peru, go-go bells from Brazil, and Congo drums from the Caribbean that are orchestrated into each style of music, as well as associated with the relevance of the slaves. This music allowed slaves to get away from all the trouble of mistreatment and to just enjoy the beautiful rhythmic sounds that would soon unleash a big movement and roll into history.
Slaves from the South were treated poorly. They used music to get through these hard times. During this time, they had no access to instruments such as guitars and pianos. Instead, slaves would create objects like bongos and cajones with a tune that were similar in look or sounds of instruments they used to play back in Africa, hitting mallets, hitting boxes, anything to create a noise they could bump their heads to. These new types of instruments create magnificent pieces that would soon be known as the roots of Latin and South American music, showing how the slaves felt. As time passed, many artists have influenced the style, but all have the same type of rhythm. As years would pass, the instruments would evolve and become part of not only African Americans, but all people's history. Countries such as Brazil, Peru, Puerto Rico, and much more use similar techniques of music and instrument elements to put such traditional songs together. What makes it also different is how music came up and about, how it changed over the countries, and how it keeps on developing into today's modern society. The development came from the roots of West African music, which also mixed with European and Native American music. Each part of the development relates to the African American experience. All in all, slaves use music to get their days. With this came the expansion of music in these types, cajones, jawbones, drums, and much more that changed the way we view everyday objects of these instruments and how they were turned into music. Many people developed the style as a whole with the roots of these countries connected back to the African experience. Okay, so enjoy period.
Give it up for Mr. Morgan. So, we're coming to the end of the journey. Are you having a good time? Well, I'm having a great time too. It's before opening our last number. There's a bunch of people I need to thank. So can we just quiet a little bit so we can hear the name of some of the people that made this possible? Because all this, it's the show time, right? We're having fun, but behind this, there was a lot of work and many weeks, and even like, this started more than a year ago, or maybe 2 years ago. So, it's a long process, a long story, and I want you to know who are some of the people that really make this possible for all of us. And I'm going to start with Miss Chris Nunciata. Can we please give her a big round of applause? It would have been impossible to be able to present this music without her. Thank you so much for all the support and making me feel at home, really, in your school. I also want to thank Miss Sharon. Where is Sharon? Sharon here? Where? Sharon, come here, please. Come over here. Sharon Kiefer, please give me a big round of applause. I also want to thank a special guest that came to see us. You saw her one day when she came to visit us in the classroom. Yes, and she's a legal wonderful artist, and also she works for the organization I came through, which is Young Audiences. Yes. You remember her?
Spicy Mama.
Jackie, please stand up. Come on, give her the round of applause to Jackie.
Let's go!
And I want to thank everybody in the school. Miss Beth, thank you so much for all your support and welcoming this program here. I also want to acknowledge Mr. Jamil Brown that came and did a wonderful workshop for us. Yes, that was very inspirational. Well, I'm sure I'm forgetting a lot of people. Of course, Mr. Morgan. He's working in the classroom with all of us every session. And he really also put a lot of heart and knowledge into our experience. All right, so we're going to close up with some beats from today, right? Some contemporary music which ties all the way to the beginning of the program, actually. So in order to do that, we're going to invite our last group of the day. This is Period 6. Period 6, welcome everybody.
Pick a spot. Pick a spot. Pick a spot. I'm gonna do this. I'm doing fine. How are you? Good. Yeah, I got one right there.
The history behind hip-hop's culture starts in the early 1970s and is popular today. It was generally performed in the Bronx area and was brought up by synthesizing music and poetry. An example of this was the group The Last Poets, who debuted their album.
Clive Campbell, also known as Cole Kirk, DJ'd his first party in the South Coast and is known as the father of hip-hop. As he did his first experiment with breakbeats and instrumental breaks in different music genres such as old funk, R&B, and soul tracks. This form of music hip-hop. Cole Kirk's music influenced other artists. These artists include Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Flash and Kaz, Tyrone Clark, and many
These artists took what DJ Herc started and added in their own twists and turns, such as scratching, which was started by DJ Grant.
As hip-hop becomes more and more popular throughout the Bronx, hip-hop rises to the radio and media in the 80s. One of the main sources of rap in the media was Soul Train, music and television programming that primarily featured genres like R&B, rap, funk, jazz, and pop. The first rap artist to appear on Soul Train was Curtis Blow.
Now that the influential genre became acknowledged in the media, its popularity expanded to all of New York and nearby states.
Now working into the 90s, hip-hop meets Hollywood with Will Smith stars in his first sitcom, The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. The 90s is an important decade for rap. Even today, rap lovers listen to worldwide over the decade when rap was the
Some of the artists that were popular at the time were Tupac, The Notorious B.I.G., Ludacris, Eminem, Missy Elliott, Snoop Dogg, Salt and Pepper, and many more. Overall, this decade was when rap was at its popularity.
Nowadays, rap is seen as a form of culture and often religion. To many, rap is a way of expression of the oppression and torture our ancestors felt and experienced. They use music as an outlet to let out their frustrations and feelings in many different ways and styles. That said, we'd love to introduce our history class.
Oh, yes, you are. I think it was
Alright, before I say goodbye, get all the 8th, and we give a big round of applause to all the 8th grade classes that performed today. And all the teachers involved. Thank you very much. You've been an amazing audience. I hope to see you very soon. And wait a little bit so you can hear from someone from the school to let you know what's going to happen.